हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू मार्गी. मार्गीचे जे मॉडेल आन्सर डिस्कशन आपण घेतोय GS मेन्स 2022 बॅच. तर त्या रिलेटेड आपण दोन क्वेश्चन आज डिस्कस करणार आहोत. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इट इज रिलेटेड टू दिस डेमोक्रेसी. सो आपल्या ज्या टेस्ट मध्ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 होता, सो तो पहिले आपण डिस्कस करू. सो डेमोक्रेसी. So first of all, question for 250 words. Democracy is crucial in ensuring the free flow of information and participation in decision making. तर हे स्टेटमेंट जे दिलेलं होतं. So democracy is crucial in ensuring the free flow of information and participation in decision making. युनायटेड नेशन्स जनरल असेंब्लीचे जे हेड आहेत तर त्यांनी हे स्टेटमेंट केलेलं होतं. सो इन लाईट ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट क्रिटिकली अनालाइज द इम्पॉर्टन्स ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी ड्युरिंग द पॅन्डेमिक. In light of the statement, critically analyze the importance of democracy during the pandemic. So while writing this answer, first of all, in introduction, you can write something basic about democracy. What do you mean by this parliamentary democracy in the context of India? And after that you can continue with your answer. So सगळ्यात पहिले यांनी काय म्हटलेलं आहे ना की अ लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी इट इज अ रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह काइंड ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह with protection for individual liberty as well as the property by rule of law. So individual liberty and property by rule of law. So तिथे आपण त्याला म्हणतोय रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह डेमोक्रेसी. And here the parliamentary democracy जे आपण म्हणतोय मग is a democratic system of government where the executive branch of parliamentary government is typically a cabinet. And headed by prime minister. हे जनरल आपण जे म्हणतो पार्लमेंटरी डेमोक्रेसी. तर त्याबद्दल तुम्ही इंट्रोडक्शन मध्ये लिहू शकता. सो प्राईम मिनिस्टर हु इज कन्सिडर्ड द हेड ऑफ द गव्हर्नमेंट. After that, writing some basic thing about the democracy, parliamentary democracy in the context of India. तर त्यानंतर आपण एक रिपोर्ट जो आलेला होता डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स रिलेटेड, इकॉनॉमिस्ट इंटेलिजन्स युनिट यांचे डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स जी आपण बघतो. तर त्यामध्ये ऍव्हरेज ग्लोबल स्कोर जो आहे अराउंड दी वर्ल्ड, ऍव्हरेज ग्लोबल स्कोर इज 5.44 इन 2019. आणि हा 2006 पासून जर आपण बघितलं तर दिस वॉज वर्स्ट स्कोर सिन्स 2006. आणि त्यानंतर प्लस यामध्ये हे 2019 इट इज बिफोर द पॅन्डेमिक अँड आफ्टर द COVID-19 pandemic and with the advent of this coronavirus pandemic, there has been an increase in governments using authoritarian measures to suppress the people or to contain the virus. आता हे आपल्याला दिसता येते की the situation of democracy during pandemic. So overall theme ही आहे की democracy why it is crucial in ensuring the free flow of information and participation in decision making. आणि मग त्यामध्ये after writing this detail, we can now turn to our basic point, that is importance of democracy during pandemic in ensuring the free flow of information and exactly how we are doing it. So importance of democracy during the pandemic. First of all, right to information. आपल्या पार्लमेंटरी डेमोक्रेसी मध्ये आपण जे आहे राईट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन ऍक्ट आपण आणलेला आहे. सो वी हॅव एनॅक्टेड द राईट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन as a tool for ensuring free flow of information. So we are having this RTI Act, right? So on the other side, जरी आपण म्हणतोय की आमच्याकडे RTI Act आहे, but on the other side, the section 8 of RTI Act, it has some clauses की आपण म्हणतो की under the conditions of national security or any other special circumstances. So RTI Act has clauses which prevent the free flow of information if it is confidential kind of information. So it prevent the free flow of information. So right to information बद्दल आपण म्हणू शकतो की in the democracy, yes, on one side you are having this RTI Act, but yes, on the critical side you can write that section 8 of RTI Act, it has some clauses की ज्याच्यामध्ये free flow of information prevent होते. Then media. Second point is media, importance of democracy. So fourth pillar of democracy, that is media. And in this case, media is also playing important role to ensure that yes, information is reaching to people. right? So media also is important as it ensures free flow of information to the public and instills actions from the government. It raises people's concerns regarding health issues and health infrastructure, which government then has to act on. On one side, you can see how the media is important, especially during pandemic. Also, you can see a lot of ground level coverage you can see in media. So, for example, if the government of China had let the pandemic information come out soon instead of suppressing the voices, then world could have been ready sooner. So this also you can read about the how media can be a game changer here. Then third point is social media and digital media revolution, and because of that you can see at the click of your mouse of computer you can get any information at one click. The information is ready for you. So social media and digital media revolution, it has ensured the free flow of information, and because of that there can be said to be result of working of economic democracy, where economic policies work for the benefit of people. So how this social media and digital media is having its impact, so that also you can see here. And then fourth point related to the free flow of information, because all these are about the information. So fourth point, at the same time democracy also protect right to privacy of people. So right to privacy, again while writing this you can also put some kind of uh, facts like article 21 you can write. After that Puttaswamy case you can write, so which are nothing but the sources of this right to privacy. So right to privacy of people, which prevent entities from stealing digital information. Right to privacy. A truly free flow of information needs to be voluntary in that case also. Free flow of information, it should be voluntary. It should not have any kind of preconditions and all. So, related to free flow of information, importance of democracy, these 4 points you can write. After that, participation in decision making. Another point of this question, importance of democracy in ensuring participation in decision making. First of all, in this, you can quote about the Greek democracy, ancient Greek democracy. So, unlike in ancient Greek democracy, where it required citizens to take active part in the government. For example, you can say that citizens are going at one place, citizens are gathering at one place and they are making their laws. So active part we are saying here. But in modern democracy it is not possible that every citizen of India is going to Delhi and sitting in parliament and making law. So it is not possible in case of India. So modern democracy is a representative kind of democracy, then where we are sending our representatives, where we are sending our representatives. So modern democracy is representative, as complete participation is not feasible in a huge country like India. And for that purpose, how we send our representatives through elections. So use of various tools from elections to social media to impact or to influence the decisions is very much crucial. After that, second point, if we are talking about elections, then periodic elections is also important. So periodic elections need to be taken despite the pandemic, as it ensures greater public debate regarding various important issues. So in the light of COVID-19 pandemic, if you see the question, so they are talking about in light of COVID-19 pandemic. So during the pandemic, so they are talking about pandemic. So you need to write points through that angle, through pandemic angle. So periodic elections need to be taken despite the pandemic. Again, it is up to the Election Commission of India how they are basically managing all these things. But yes, elections are necessary as it will ensure greater public debate regarding various important issues. For example, issue of free vaccines during even this you can say during elections also, those campaignings, election campaigns. So in that, how you are putting things in front of people. So issue of free vaccines and West Bengal elections. So you can write, for example, here that the elections and how it is impacting the overall management of pandemic. And then third point in this post-truth world, there has been decentralization of information due to advent of social media. This term is very much important. Post-truth Post-truth world 2 to 3 years ago. You must have heard about this post-truth concept. Post-truth concept, and in that case, how the emotions of people are emotions of people are used for influencing the decision making. So that also you can see here, emotions, use of emotions. So in the post-truth world, there has been decentralization of information. You are having a lot of information in front of you due to advent of social media. So in a way that has increased the participation of people in overall decision making. As such phenomena affect the governance decisions. So whenever you say decentralization of information is there, you are having a lot of information in front of you, which can help you on one side, in decision making. But there is other side of this also, which you can also write here. Other side, that is nothing but your fake news. So this is also one important thing, that whenever you are having this huge amount of decentralization of information through the social media, then fake news aspect also you can mention in this part. After that, after that, writing in the conclusion then. So these points you will write, and then conclusion. So two parts of this question. First is this importance of democracy during the pandemic in ensuring free flow of information, and second one, ensuring the participation in decision making. So these points you need to write. After that, conclusion. In conclusion, you can write the quote as said by Aung San Suu Kyi. Democracy is when the people keep a government in check. So democracy is when the people keep a government is in check. Now, in the context of this also, it is of utmost importance. It is very important that people need to ask questions and participate in democracy to protect their own rights. And how they can do this? By free flow of information. By free flow of information. So that is what the context of this question. So this was your first question. This was your first question from this polity section. Again, if you read this, democracy is crucial in ensuring free flow of information and participation in decision making. In light of the statement, critically analyze the importance of democracy during the pandemic. So this was second question in that test paper. Now let's move to our next question. Question number three. Question number three. This question is related to National Human Rights Commission. Again, in your NCRT, they have given in detail about the National Human Rights Commission, Indian Constitution at Work. They have given one full page on this. So discuss the functions of National Human Rights Commission with suitable examples. So here, along with basics of a National Human Rights Commission, what are the functions? In any basic polity textbook also you can get the functions of NHRC, but here what is important is suitable examples. And where you can get suitable examples? Through your newspapers. Through newspapers, daily, almost daily, you can see this news related to NHRC. You can see this news related to NHRC. So it is very important to read regular newspaper to answer such kind of questions, because they can give you some kind of examples related to this question. First of all, writing about NHRC in introduction is very much important. Basic facts, which you also read for prelims exam. So, National Human Rights Commission, it was established on 12th of October 1993, and basically under this law, Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, this was created. So, the statute under which it is established is Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, which was basically later amended in 2006 also. So Protection of Human Rights Amendment Act 2006. And in this Protection of Human Rights Act, there is Section 2, Clause 1, Subclause D. Section 2, Clause 1, Subclause D of this PHRA. And in this, it is defined, human right, it is defined as the rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity. So, rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of individuals guaranteed by the Constitution, or embodied in international covenants, and enforceable by courts in India. So overall, this is a comprehensive definition of human rights given under this Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. So you can write about this in your introduction. In your introduction, you can also simply make it short. If possible, you can also make it short. That National Human Rights Commission of India, it was established on 12th of October 1993, and after that, under this section 2 clause 1, you can skip this amendment portion, but section 2 clause 1 subclause B of PHRA, it defines human rights in this way. Okay, so in this way, introduction you can write, and then since it is a 150 word question, you are having the space limit also and word limit also. So you need to directly hit the question now. That is nothing but functions. So the commission shall perform all or any of the following functions, all or any of the following functions. So basic functions, first of all, inquire on its own initiative or on any kind of petition. So they can take this initiative by themselves also, or on a petition presented to it. And who will present this petition? Either a victim or any person on his behalf, into complaint of violation of human rights or abatement or negligence in the prevention of such violation by a public servant. So these two are important functions. Inquiry. First of all, they inquire into violation of human rights. So they inquire into violation of human rights. For example, again, this is very important. Suitable examples. So the commission has taken suo motu. Suo motu means that by themselves, cognizance of a complaint filed by NGO. NGO's name was International Law Affiliate, on the plight of poor girls in Nepal and India. So it was related to human trafficking and forced into prostitution in various red light areas. Now, Commission calls for the report from Delhi Police Commissioner in this context. So this example you can quote there. And whenever you are talking about human trafficking, you can quote Article 23 also there. So in light of Article 23, they are doing it. Then a second function, intervene in any proceedings involving any allegation of violation of human rights pending before a court with the approval of such court. If court is approving, then NHRC can intervene in such kind of cases, allegation of violation of human rights. For example, Supreme Court allows NHRC intervention in its suo motu writ petition. Writ petition, again, directly you can also quote Article 32 here. So writ petition on the problems and miseries of migrant laborers in the wake of nationwide lockdown. So this was also in newspaper. This was given in newspaper. So Supreme Court allows NHRC in some situations. Then third function is visit under the intimation to the state government any jail, under the intimation to the state government. They cannot randomly go, but under the intimation of state government, visiting the jails or any other institutions under the control of state government, where persons are basically detained or lodged for purpose of treatment, reformation, or protection. So in such places where persons are kept in that place, they can visit and they study the living conditions of inmates, and related to that, they can also make recommendations to the respective authorities. So this is another important function. For example, NHRC chairperson Mr. Justice J.S. Verma, they visited Tihar Central Jail, New Delhi. This was old news, very old news. But they visited the Tihar Central Jail, and chairperson went around the jail premises. They visited the entire area. They got the first-hand account of the prevalent conditions, living conditions there, and the state of the prisoners lodged there. So they check everything related to that Tihar Central Jail. So this type of news also you can get regularly in newspaper. After that, next function is related to review the safeguards by or under the constitution or any law for the time being in force for the protection of human rights, and related to that, recommend measures for their effective implementation. So they can check what are the existing provisions in the law or what the constitution is saying, and is it properly recommended or is it properly implemented. So they check this thing. So reviewing the existing safeguards. For example, NHRC has issued an advisory on protection of human rights NHRC has issued advisory on protection of human rights of PVTs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, amid COVID-19. So they checked the existing provisions related to PVTs and they advised some points related to protection of human rights. So this is also one of the functions. Then next function, review the factors including act of terrorism that inhibit the enjoyment of human rights, and then recommend appropriate remedial measures related to that. So wherever there is violation of human rights, there is violation of human rights. In that case, reviewing the factors including acts of terrorism that can inhibit enjoyment of human rights. Justice J.S. Verma, referring to terrorism, said that government should adopt strategies which balance the dignity of individual with national security. And whenever we are saying dignity, it is directly on the first page of your constitution, that is preamble. They have mentioned this word dignity of individual. So it is very important. So human dignity must be placed alongside the unity and integrity of the nation. This was also said by Justice J.S. Verma. And then another important function of NHRC, that is study the treaties and other international instruments on human rights and make recommendations for their effective implementation. So they also look the outside the country also. They check what are the international instruments related to human rights and how we can effectively implement those international instruments as well. For example, National Human Rights Commission India deputed Sri B.S. Nagar, Under Secretary Coordination Department, to attend training on international human rights mechanism so that they can get to know what is happening at the international level. So to attend the training on international human rights mechanism in Geneva, Switzerland, this seminar was there in 2017, old news, but yes, you can get to know these kind of news in newspaper regularly also. The purpose of the training was to expose the participants to get the international exposure from various national human rights institutions to international human rights protection framework and mechanism. So exposure to international human rights protection framework was the basic intent behind this type of visit. So this is also one of the function of NHRC then. And then next function, undertake and promote research in the field of human rights. So research in the field of human rights. They publish various kind of research papers also related to that. For example, this paper was published from research from cell to society, a study on the social integration of released prisoners in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So this was the research from Cell to Society, the name of that research. It was commissioned by NHRC. So they do this kind of thing regularly. And then next function, spread human rights in spread human rights literacy among various sections of society. So basic thing about this is nothing but your awareness. You must know that you are having these kinds of rights. So spreading the human rights literacy among various sections of society and promoting that awareness of the safeguards which are available for the protection of these rights. And how they do it, through various kind of publications, through media, seminars, and other available means. They do this kind of thing. So spreading the awareness is the important function of NHRC. For example, Justice A.K. Mishra, chairperson of NHRC India, so he expressed serious concerns over the continuance of manual scavenging today, and said that widespread persistence of this practice, despite laws and guidelines for its elimination, not only goes against the values of our constitution but also violate the numerous national and international rights. So this was statement done by the Justice A.K. Mishra. So these types of ideas related to awareness you can get to know in your daily newspapers also. You can put any type of news from that section. So this is another important function. And then encourage the efforts of non-governmental organizations and institutions working in the field of human rights. So there is one separate topic in your GS2, that is role of NGOs. So you can also relate it with that. So in our lectures also we have covered this role of NGO topic. So encouraging the efforts of non-governmental organization and institutions working in the field of human rights. For example, National Human Rights Commission, they have constituted a core group to serve as a monitoring mechanism for its consultations with NGOs. So whenever we say government and NGO interface, so in that case also you can see this NHRC and NGO. So this core consultative group was created to serve as a monitoring mechanism for its consultations with non-governmental organizations, which are specifically engaged in the field of human rights. And in this law also, under Section 12, Clause 1 of Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, the Commission is to encourage the efforts of NGOs. So this is also under the law. The Commission has also designated its Joint Secretary as the nodal officer for coordinating with the NGOs. Nodal officer for coordinating with the NGOs. So in your notes, which we have taken in our lectures also, you can also add this point related to this human rights. Okay. And then next important function, such other functions. So last point is, apart from all these functions, there are such other functions as it may consider necessary for the promotion of human rights. Then these are also performed by NHRC. For example, NHRC emphasized that center and states need to put their acts together. So they need to coordinate in order to meet the urgent response needed amid the second wave of pandemic raging through the country by setting up universally functional COVID-19 dashboard. So they also discussed about this, that center and state should coordinate together in fighting this COVID-19 pandemic. The dashboard will help in providing real-time information, exactly what is the status of number of cases, what is the status of vaccination, all these things they need to provide real-time information in public domain on the availability of hospital beds, oxygen, critical care medicines and devices. So this is also one of the functions which NHRC performs. So in this way, these are the various functions. Again, these are given in detail, but you can write any 4 to 5 functions along with examples, because this is a 150 word question. This is a 150 word question. So you need to also check the space limit and word limit. So just pick 4 to 5 functions and then related examples to that, and you can write in your answer. If it is 250 words, then go for it in complete. In the end, what they are talking about in conclusion. So in the conclusion, what they are saying, this is end of this question. Conclusion. In conclusion, they are saying that thus, as shown by these examples, NHRC has been working with legislature, judiciary, and executive. So they are working with all these 3 organs. So you can also see like this: 3 organs. That is executive, legislature, and judiciary. So NHRC is working with all these three, collaborating towards creating a social framework where human rights are ensured to all. That is the basic purpose of this organization. So although there remains many challenges. Yes, it is not that everything is going in a proper way, but yes, there are many challenges. But with the concerted efforts by all, they can be solved. So in the end, conclusion. Whenever we are writing conclusion, we should reflect hope. So there is hope, that is very important, that you cannot write a conclusion in a negative sense, that everything is not good. So in that way you cannot write. You need to reflect hope in your answer. Okay. So this is about your second question related to functions of National Human Rights Commission. So that's it from today's session. We have covered 2 questions related to polity that were asked in our UPSC GS Mains 2022 batch. So in our further lectures, we will cover such questions which are covered in our test. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.